Hey everybody, Mo here, and in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys 5 tips on how to climb to Diamond. So, tip number 1 is pick a consistent deck. Consistency is the most important thing when it comes to performing well in any card game, and that's how people will measure your skill by determining if someone is good or bad at the game. When you think of professional players, card players, whether it's Hearthstone, Pokemon, or Magic the Gathering, something that all of those players have in common is they perform well and they place highly at major events. Yes, Legends of Runeterra and all these other card games are card games, so there is RNG in the game. However, pros don't just get lucky at every single event they've gone to in the last 10 years. They're all just really consistent. Nobody gets lucky 10 years in a row or 50 events in a row and top 816 Pro Tours. It's all about consistency. Now, when it comes to Legends of Runeterra's online ranked system, it's the same ranked system as most games. On average, in ranked, you're going to be placed against people that are the same rank or maybe a slightly higher rank than you. So if you want to climb, you'll have to regularly beat people who are a higher rank than you. The more consistent your deck is, and the less you rely on RNG, the more consistently you should win. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that the people in the higher ranks than you are always going to be more skilled than you. So if you're placed in Gold 3 and every single Gold 1 player or Gold 2 player is not going to be better than you, but on average, there's probably a reason why someone is higher ranked than you. So if you're stuck in Gold 3, the only way to get to Gold 2 is to beat everybody on the same level than you, as well as every time it pairs you up against somebody in Gold 2. And it's the same going from Gold 2 to Gold 1. If you want to get to Gold 1, you have to beat everybody now consistently that's Gold 2, and some people that are going to be Gold 1. I'm in Diamonds at the moment, and sometimes it does put me up against players that are Masters. I was Diamond 4, and it placed me up against the Rank 2 Masters player in North America. Now, if I want to get better, I have to be able to beat people like that. If I think I deserve Masters, or if I want to get out of Diamond 4, I have to eventually beat people that are Diamond 3, or Diamond 2, or even Masters. So the best thing to help you with this is to cut out as much RNG as possible by picking a good and super consistent deck. Now, the second tip is going to be learn the current meta. So, once you've learned what decks to look out for and how to disrupt each deck's game plan, you'll have a lot easier time when playing against them. This can be done by going to Mobalytics or any other site that has ranked data for your region and see what decks are performing well and what decks are played the most. Look at a couple of lists for each of those decks to see what's about the same in all of them, what are the key cards that are played in all of them, and how the deck plans on winning. This can be done also if you're just playing. Just maybe take notes of every single deck you play against. Maybe you've never seen a Shadow Isle Ionia Wraith deck before, but all of a sudden you play against 6 of them in a row. Well, maybe take note of how they beat you every time, and then the next time you play against them, you now have that knowledge from the previous games. Okay, maybe this deck is now meta, and I have to learn how to play against it, and I lost to XYZ card, so I know to look out for these cards and to play around them. Another simple way to check what decks are considered meta or tier 1 is just to go to your favorite streamer's stream and simply ask them, or most of the time they'll have a list somewhere, either in their Discord page or on a Google Drive, of the best meta decks in their opinion and how to build them even. So you can say, okay, let's say Swim is on right now. He's the highest ranked player in the game. You can go to his stream. You should be able to type in a specific command, and it'll take you to a link where he has all of the top deck list and his take on each deck list. So not only are you getting what are the top 5 decks in the meta right now, but you're even getting his specific versions of saying, if you want to play an elusive aggro deck right now, this is my take on an elusive aggro deck. So you have the best possible, elusive aggro deck in your opinion to play. The third tip we're going to be talking about is learn from players of a higher skill level than you. With live streaming and online guides becoming a thing in the last couple of years, it's made getting better at games a lot easier. It's really easy to just Google Legends of Runeterra Elusive Deck Guide and find several results that can help you. Almost any question you have about the game or any deck you want a guide on, you can more than likely find it with just a simple, quick Google search. On top of that, live streaming has been a huge help with players getting better at games. if you can't find a guide anywhere, or maybe your question is just very specific, you can go to your favorite Legends of Runeterra streamer, or go to the highest ranking streamer you enjoy watching, and just simply ask them. A lot of streamers explain why they're doing certain actions, and let the viewers know their intentions. And that shows you insight on certain things that maybe you didn't see before, or maybe you weren't thinking about. Watching a better player of the game should teach you several interactions that you didn't even know were possible, or could even teach you something you've been doing wrong. I can't tell you how many times I've been watching a professional Magic stream, like, the Worlds game or something like that. And I thought to myself, oh, I wouldn't do that action whenever the player does something. And then 2 turns later, the play I would have done would have failed miserably, and the player I just questioned won the game and had the perfect game plan the entire time. And because of that, I learned something new. And the last thing you could do to get information from a streamer or on a certain question is just by asking them. If you want to learn why a certain card isn't played as often as you think it should be played, but you can't find an answer online from something that's reliable, and no, Reddit is not always reliable, just ask a highly ranked player or highly ranked streamer. They'll more than likely have an answer for your question, and this might be hard to do in larger streams with, have several thousand people watching and the chat's moving fairly quickly, but I promise the fastest and easiest way to get your question answered by the streamer is just to donate a couple dollars. Not only will the streamer instantly pay attention to the donation, but they'll answer your question and could possibly go into super high detail and depth to where you weren't even expecting, and really, really help you understand, while at the same time, you're also helping them out, because, of course, people stream for free. So that's always nice to help each other out. And of course, I know that not everyone can donate to get your question answered. So if you can't, that's fine. Just simply at the streamer, or maybe you make your message highlighted with the new channel point system. But you could still run into the problem of 100 other people trying to do the exact same thing as you. The 4th tip is to stop blaming luck and RNG for every single loss. Yes, it's a card game. Yes, you'll get unlucky. Yes, your opponent will get very lucky. And honestly, some games can seem strictly unwinnable. However, if you have a 35% win rate and you're silver 4, I hate to break it to you, but you probably suck at. You might not be the greatest player, and you're probably making small or large misplays that you just aren't noticing. One of my most believe-in sayings when it comes to card games is every game was winnable. You just have to find out how. Yes, even the games where you're playing control and you don't have a play until turn 4 and your aggro opponent kills you on turn 3 are technically winnable. You just have to know what to look for. In that example, the game was winnable if you would have teched your deck differently or built your deck differently to handle a turn 3 win. Does this mean you need to change your deck every single time you lose to fit the scenario that just happened? No, but if it's consistently happening, or if the most played deck now kills you on turn 3, then yeah, you probably need to make some adjustments to your deck to make it handle a turn 3 win more often, and stop crying after every single match on how unlucky you are that you didn't have a play until turn 3, or how lucky your aggro opponents are, or how busted the deck is. The best way to tell when or how a game was winnable is to watch the replay. Just download OBS and start recording whenever you're playing, and if you ever get into a game that you just lost and you want to know when it was winnable, you can go and stop recording and then just play back the game. Hindsight is always 20/20, of course, but that's what you want when you're trying to figure out how a game was winnable. It's really easy for when you're streaming people to backseat game and say, oh, you should have done this play, you should have done that play. And I see a lot of streamers get mad at them and say, hindsight's 20/20, hindsight's 20/20, my play was fine. And that's true, the play was probably fine and not the worst play. But when you're really critiquing on how to make a game winnable and what you could have done differently to win, you really want that 20/20 hindsight. So you want to see what could I have done differently in that game to win, or what I could have done to at least have a better chance of winning. And this seems super boring and time-consuming, and that's because honestly it is. And if you don't feel comfortable with reviewing your own replays, because maybe you don't feel like you're a high enough level, or you'll not be able to spot out where you went wrong, try sending it to someone that's higher ranked than you. I'm not sure about Legends of Runeterra streamers, But I know a lot of Magic the Gathering streamers and pros will often review your deck, play your deck, and even review a game of yours on stream for certain donation amounts. The amount will definitely differ based on the person you're asking, whether they probably just don't like doing it as much, or if it's the person that just won the Pro Tour Hall of Fame, so their opinions are going to be worth more. But just for example, someone like me, like I would review your deck list and try to tweak it and give you some tips on it for probably about $3. I'll try your deck out and give you feedback on it. In normal games, I'll probably play about 5 games with it for about $5. And I'll do that in ranked. I'll play your deck in ranked games for about $10, and I'll review your replay for about $20. Now, again, this is just one example on several different, people out there in the world that are doing this types of thing, with prices ranging anywhere from way less than what I do for free, or prices up to, 3 times what I charge. And that's just because of who you're asking. If you're asking someone that's Diamond 4 that no one really knows too much about, or they haven't won anything major, yeah, they're probably just going to charge you less because their opinion is not held to the same standards as if you were to ask the person that just won back-to-back Pro Tours and is viewed as the godlike best player in the game at the moment. The last tip is to just handle your tilt. This tip isn't called don't tilt, because everybody tilts, but it's how you handle your tilt and how quickly you can reset your mental and get back to peak performance that matters. The most common and easiest thing I see people do to handle their tilt is to simply take a break. If you've lost the last 4 games in a row and you feel like the universe just wants you to stay gold 4 and you're getting unlucky every game and your opponent always has it and they have the perfect curve and they're a mulligan wizard every single game, just take a small break. Watch a 10-minute YouTube video that'll take your mind off of your losses. Try to clear your head, rehydrate, and then just after 10 minutes, give it another go. There are several methods people use to de-tilt, so it's really just about recognizing when you're tilting and then finding the method that works for you. Me personally, I like to just listen to music to de-tilt. I'll listen to music if I'm streaming. I'll just sit there and talk to my stream while I listen to music and chill and just try to not think about the game at all for 10 minutes. This really just resets my mind and kind of filters out all of those bad experiences I just had, and really just resets me and think, okay, I'm going to start playing Legends of Runeterra now. Like, it's a whole different day, it's a whole different stream, it's a whole different, ranked session. Just saying, I'm going to go ahead and start now. I'm starting fresh. I'll listen to artists like Eden or a couple of Black Bear songs for about 10 to 15 minutes, nice calming music. I definitely enjoy rap music, but if I'm tilted and I feel kind of frustrated, I don't think listening to DMX for 10 minutes straight is going to be the best solution for me, personally, of course. And I'll just listen to music for about 10 to 15 minutes, get a glass of orange juice, sit back, and then just go ahead and get back to the grind. You'll stop yourself from losing a lot more LP this way, versus just sitting there tilted and angry and deciding to keep playing for another 3 to 4 games. And just losing those games because you're tilted, and it just turns into a vicious cycle of, I'm mad because I keep losing, so I decide to play until I win. But I'm making mistakes because I'm angry and tilted, so I play worse, so I lose more. And I'm mad because I lost. And the whole cycle just repeats itself until you eventually find your way at a 30% win rate on the day, your MMR is shot, and you've lost hundreds of LP. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. I hope you guys can take away some tips from this. And I put out videos every Wednesday and Saturday. I stream on Twitch Monday through Friday, so go ahead and follow me on Twitch. Subscribe here so you guys don't miss anything. I also have a Discord now. The Discord link will be in the description below, so you guys can chat with me and get notifications on whenever I do basically anything. And I'll always answering questions in there if you have any questions about anything. And I'll see you guys in the next video.